Hey YouTube, Zukan Shinobi here with a review of the Pokémon Zukan Black and White Volume 1 or Set 1 or whatever you want to call it. BW01. So, for those of you that don't know, the Pokémon Zukan are or Pokémon Zukan Solid Figure, I believe is the full name, are a line of gashapon toys that are 1/40th scale. And since it has the word scale in it, it's obviously that these are to scale. That is why you have Reshiram and Zekrom in the back here that are big, compared to little Patrat or little Munna or little starters, because they're just not as big as Reshiram and Zekrom. These do go off the Pokédex data in the video game, so these might not be completely to scale in the anime, but the video game heights, this is supposedly 1/40th scale, everything is to scale. So that is good for people who are sticklers to scale, and there's a lot of them out there. So this is the first set of black and white releases. So we have Reshiram, Zekrom, Patrat, and Watchog, Munna-Musharna, and then Snivy-Tepig-Oshawott in a set together. You may notice tons of different styles of these. You have got like the base, you've got the scenery, and you've got just a standalone figure. It really depends on what they feel like doing and the size of the figure. So let's go ahead and take a look at these one by one. So first up is Reshiram. Reshiram has this little purple thing attached to its tail, because otherwise it would just fall backwards and it wouldn't be able to stand on its own. I would like to note that with all of these figures, I'll probably repeat this about another 4 times in this review, but all these figures have standalone pieces. This stand does not actually connect to Reshiram. I glued it in because I didn't want to lose the piece. That is the case with a lot of these figures, and I'll touch upon that again when I get to Munna, and I think Munna's the only one that was wiggly in this set. So I did a lot of gluing on these figures to make sure that they don't fall apart. So keep that in mind, that Reshiram doesn't always have a thingy attached to his butt. If you don't want it there, it doesn't have to be there, just letting you know that it doesn't make Reshiram go like that. So anyway, there is a little bit of a fold here in the wing that I caused when I was storing him until this review. So keep in mind that this is pliable plastic and it will shape, so if it's squished it will get all weird. But here's Reshiram, and it's done very well. The sculpting on these are always top notch. It doesn't have any of the flame effects a later release did for the movie, which we'll take a look at later on if I continue these reviews. So overall, just really, really nice looking. There was a lot of pieces that like to fall off on Reshiram, but I glued them in and they're all good now. But yeah, these figures, despite being fairly cheap gashapon releases, are very, very detailed. So you've got a great sculpt done here. Even better of a sculpt than most of the Jack-specific figures, in my opinion. They just did a really good job on these. So here is Reshiram. Next up is Zekrom. So obviously Zekrom, like most of these releases, don't have any articulation. These figures just aren't built for articulation. A couple of them do have a little bit of movement because of how they're packed into the gashapon ball. But other than that, there really isn't any movement on these. These are purely just solid statues, hence the solid figure portion of the name. So again, like Reshiram, very, very nice sculpt going on. And again, I did glue the purple stand onto his tail, hence why that's not lined up exactly right there, because I was sloppy. But again, like Reshiram, very nice detailing on here with the different shades of black. You've got the blue tip on there, on the antenna. Just overall, great, great sculpting. Yeah, it is a little bit disappointing it doesn't have any articulation, but in terms of detail, this is a great figure for the price. So here is Zekrom. Next up is Patrat and Watchog. Now, one thing that you might not know, or might know if you're just judging by the 2 that are in this set, the Zukan line loves doing evolution lets. So we get Patrat and Watchog here in a set. You'll see Munna and Musharna. There is, in the next set that I'm going to review, there's a Snivy, Superior, Servine. There we go, there's the middle one. Together in a set. So they really do enjoy doing evolution lines for these. Sometimes you'll get fun things like this one where they're in a cool little scenery thing and they don't have any relation to one another. But for the most part, these will be stuck in evolution lines. So, these stands are all pretty generic. If you flip it over in Japanese, you get 1/40th scale, number 10, and their Japanese names, number 11, and the Japanese names, and number 2, because I think this might be the... Do they all say number 2? No, they all don't say this. So this wasn't the number 2 capsule in the set. So the stands are all done individually, but for the most part, they'll all feature about 2 pegs that can stick in there. So like you can take Watchog off the peg and just have him sit free. I think Patrat can do the same thing. Now, I did glue the pegs in because they had a tendency of falling out, and I just wanted a secure little thing to have on my display. So Patrat's being all Patratty, and Watchog is a grumple face. So Patrat and Watchog. Even on the smaller sets, as you can see right here, with Patrat, like even the smaller ones have absolutely great detail. The eyes are done really well, and the sculpt is pretty nice as well. So even on these little, really tiny ones, the sculpt and painter is absolutely perfect on these. So up next is Munna-Musharna. Sometimes you'll get little accessories with these, and by accessories I mean the little pedestal, to make the evolution taller than the normal one, or to have something float, or something along the lines of that. So Musharna rather, is on this little pedestal sleeping, because that's what it does. It sleeps and spews smoke out of its little blowhole. And then Munna's just tiny and adorable and pink and fluffy and stuff. So, very nice overall. Again, just great detail and great paint on these. And also, again, I did glue them in. As you can see, that does just plug right in there. And I believe I glued Musharna to the pedestal, and I glued Munna into the stand itself, because there was no peg for her and nowhere to set her. So it was just honestly taking the figure and placing it on this pedestal. If you tip the pedestal, the figure would just fall right out because there is no plug for it. So I glued it onto the pedestal. Like I said, the backs are all individual. Lastly, we have probably the coolest of the set. Snivy-Tepig-Oshawott in a nice forest scenery. We have Oshawott swimming, Tepig running through the grass, and Snivy is just up on the branch being all boss, because that's how Snivy rolls. And the back, or the bottom rather, down here, it's upside down. There we go, 1/4 scale, yada yada yada, 1/4, 1/40th rather. So really cool. So you've got pretty nice sculpt and paint on all the little individual Pokemon, plus you've got a very nice scenery that's also incredibly well sculpted and painted. So I have to give it to Takara Tomy. They're the ones who released these. And I have to say that they are absolutely fantastic. You can get a set of 5 for around, depending on the set, roughly $35 or so. The only way to get these is through eBay. Some stores sell them. I know Big in Japan sells some Pokemon gashapon sets, so if you want to take a look there, they might have them. I get them through Yahoo Japan Auctions via my middleman Okinawa toy seller, so I haven't bid on a set for me. Otherwise, the only way to get these is through a gashapon machine in Japan, which there, I think they're about 500 yen or so a piece, right around there, maybe only 300. Not that expensive, so about $5 for a capsule, right around the same price that you would get the gashapon figures here in America. So for the price, I have to say that these are incredibly affordable, in my opinion. You get 5 very well done sets, and I mean, in one set you can get up to 3 little figures for a fairly reasonable price. Yeah, it comes out to be a little bit more because you have to factor in fees and auction fees and stuff like that. If you just get these at normal retail, then you're pretty much getting them for a good price. But when you have to factor in that they're Japanese exclusive, then you kind of start hiking up the price a little bit. But even with the additional fees, this is a very affordable line, a very collectible line. They release a new set every about 2 months or so. They currently have 3 black and white releases, plus 2 for the Reshiram and Zekrom Victini movies, plus 3 for the new Keldeo movies, plus I think they've got a set 4 coming up soon too. So there is a bunch of sets of these released so far. This one was released sometime last year, if I remember correctly. Maybe even earlier than that. But very cool. If you can get your hands on these, like I said, check out biginjapan.com or Google it, because I don't think that's their actual URL, but this is the shop name. Or contact a middleman like Okinawan Toy Seller or Rider Proxy or Yokata or anything like that to bid on Yahoo Japan Auctions to get a set of these. Very cool. If you like any of the Pokemon in these, I definitely recommend them. You can get some individual ones on eBay as well for a fairly decent price. Not too expensive, about $10 or so. So enough rambling about the price and how you can get them. Very cool. I love them. If you want to see more reviews, let me know in the comments. I've got a couple sets of these built up. So if you want to see more Pokemon Zukan, let me know and I will be glad to do them. So you can check out shukenshinobi.com for latest updates on my reviews and hauls, and of course check out Riders, Rangers, and Rambles.com for the latest tokusatsu news and the craziest way possible. So take care and have a great one. Bye.